You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome to another episode of the OHL in 60 podcast with Colin Ward. I'm Reece, Doumani. We've got BC behind the clouds, or up in the clouds. I always screw that up. It's pretty bad.
He's in Ottawa.
I should probably write it in front of me. Yeah, BC's in Ottawa. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. But thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're watching us on the Armchair GM Sports Network's YouTube page, whether you're listening on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you, because we've only got 2 weeks left in the regular season before we enter playoff mode, and yeah, you're definitely going to want to hit that subscribe button for sure to stay up to date on all the playoff content that we've got. Let's pop it up on the screen. Let's get the topics for today's show, or this week's show, I should say. We are not a daily show. We're a weekly show. Good one, Reece. But show guest, not a big deal. Joey Costanzo is going to lead us off as part of our OHL Headlines to kick off the show. OHL officiating. We have some
What's
thoughts.
the approach?
We have some thoughts. If you want to hear our full thoughts, go listen to the Dogcast on the Bulldogs Audio Network. Bulldogs fans, true. Yeah, there might be someone who hasn't been to a game in 5 years that might get offended.
I forgot about that. It doesn't even go to arenas. It doesn't even go to arenas.
But
I'm lucky to hang around people with character.
Well, hey, wrestling with no TV deals. Yeah.
Yeah, get out, ball.
The injury bug kind of floating around the Ontario Hockey League right now. We know the status of Ethan Belchetz, Jet Luchenko not playing right now, Ryan Robrick not playing also. So we'll kind of touch on that a little bit. And then, of course, these are pretty well staples to round out the shows for the last number of weeks. Players of the week, well, that's been longer than a week. But the draft simulator, again, kind of know who our four teams are. And then the power rankings to wrap things up. So that's what this week's show looks like for everyone tuning in. But before we get to all of that, huge congratulations to BC, who has signed his first pro contract. It's unfortunate that it's in lacrosse, but hey, we'll support him anyways.
Don't forget the agents.
Headed to Ottawa, the nation's capital. BC is officially off to Ottawa, and he's leaving us behind to live out his dream of playing lacrosse, because that's totally a real thing, and we're not making it up and having fun with it on social media. It's Colin's dying.
I got him a no movement clause.
Colin Ward, sports agent.
Who would have thought it? I got him a no movement clause. It was unbelievable. For those on social media, on Twitter specifically, would see what happened. Shout out to the Ottawa Capitals. They signed a Caputo. Saw the Brandon tweet, and then it went from there. Had to have fun with social media on times where you can't have much fun anymore. So it's nice to have fun again on social media. Unbelievable edition in BC. The best part is the messages I was getting. That it's Phil, right? Not Brandon.
No movement clause. Everyone's got those now. They're not special anymore.
Shows up to the press conference, and it's like, we can't sign you. Teams like the demands are crazy. Helping the development. Some of the posts were unbelievable. Helping the development, yeah.
Got to negotiate a guaranteed amount of money and like get it up front, and
signing bonuses all up front, guaranteed money. NFL free agency open, so unbelievable timing too. Hey, shout out to the Falcons, by the way, BC. Do us a big ad. Watch out for those goalposts. Those are tough, but no. It's all fun. It's all fun. I saw that and thought, yeah, great time. But congrats on the lacrosse, and shout out to the Ottawa Capitals. And Phil Caputo, I saw. So shout out to Phil Caputo, Ottawa Capitals. Sounds like he's a stud in lacrosse. Sounds like he's a stud. The post on the Capitals social media looked pretty legit about him, so that was pretty cool. Sounds like they got a stud. But Brandon Caputo is more of a stud. And sometimes you win some, you lose some as a player agent, and maybe we won one here. We'll see.
Yeah, we might have dodged a bullet. Yeah,
we might.
I won't have to watch lacrosse.
I might not be able to take the 407 or something. Hopefully, you can get post game meals. So we'll see.
Well, is there a London team? Make a trade with them for 407 money. So.
Oh gosh.
Right.
Oh gosh. All right.
We're getting off topic. But let's get to our OHL headlines for this week. Show guest, not a big deal. Joey Costanzo. Oh. Yeah.
For those on YouTube are getting an unbelievable treat right now. Reece and I are dying.
Yeah, man, I'm already placing the order for the banner
what's the jersey
banner
number?
Retirement night.
What is the jersey number?
Brandon, what jersey would you wear?
13. 13 for Pavel Datsuk.
Datsuk.
Just like Gavin Bryant for Pavel Datsuk. Unbelievable choice. Pavel Datsuk, he's going to wear 13 for everybody, not Alex Rodriguez.
Love it. So I'll custom order it. I'll double check with the hockey team that plays at the same barn to make sure they're not fighting with each other.
Sell it on the website.
Like a lacrosse team that is called one city, but they play in a different city. Yeah.
Yeah, move the banners.
Okay. Yeah, bad. Yeah, because they won so many championships in Hamilton.
What a first
100 career wins for Joey Costanzo. Congratulations to him, and I know we've had him on the show. If you missed that episode or interview, absolutely go back and listen to it. It was really awesome to get to chat with him for 35-40 minutes or so. Obviously we celebrated his 100 victories in the OHL. Now he's got 100 as a Windsor Spitfire. So that's really awesome to see. I mean, what a great dude. We've had numerous conversations about him this season. Feels like we're the Joey Costanzo fan club, which we kind of are.
We are.
I shouldn't say kind of are. We are.
Yep.
Until maybe he gets to an OHL championship series. If it's against Brantford. If it's not, well, then go Spitfires. But this is... I have nothing but good things to say about this young man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the heartbeat of that team, right? They go as he goes. I mean, you look at the character that Joey Costanzo has, right, and that speaks for itself. 100% the GOAT of Windsor goaltending now, you could say, and I mean, you can't say that lightly. With the goaltending that they've had in Windsor, to say Joey Costanzo is the GOAT of Spitfire goalies is the best compliment I can give Joey Costanzo. And utmost respect for that organization. The goalies that they've had in that system, it's unbelievable. And I know Joey's got to be pretty honored by that, to have that honor, most wins, 100 wins like that. I'm sure he's got to be humbled about that. And when we spoke to him a couple weeks ago, he already was, and you kind of knew this record was coming. And it was, you can see it. And also a big win over the Kitchener Rangers on the weekend too. They finally got Kitchener. Which was huge for them. I'm sure that's huge for them going into the postseason.
Absolutely. Next up, Brendan Faulkner. And if things couldn't get any worse for the Ice Dogs after blowing a 4-0 lead to the Saginaw Spirit, they allow a record breaker, and that's Brendan Faulkner scoring 2 shorthanded goals on the same penalty kill. That's really hard to do.
Incredible to do, yeah. It's a lot of luck.
Minute 7 apart. Yeah, some luck's involved for sure, but to be honest, never thought we'd ever have to talk about this. And it's just one of those things in the back of your mind that you just never think about could happen, because you're like, oh, if you get 1, nice, that's a nice boost for your team. It's like, well, when you get 2, you should probably win that game, and Peterborough did. But that's cool as hell.
I saw the first goal, and I'm thinking, who's on the power play? like untouched. It's like, oh, dipsy doodle, boom, good night. That's an incredible accomplishment, honestly. Just a minute and 7 seconds apart like that. That doesn't happen too often in the OHL. I don't know when the last time I saw that. I've saw 2 goals on a penalty kill before, but not by the same player like that. That's tough to do, and that's pretty cool. I mean, it's a team effort in that moment too, right? Because like everything's got to be executed perfectly to a T in the system to get that chance.
Yeah.
And maybe on the Niagara standpoint, you take a shift off, all of a sudden, boom, 2's potted against you. It's like, uh-oh, boys, what are we doing? We're behind the 8 ball here.
Yep, exactly. Another record broken, and it's funny that the man he passed was in the building the week prior to this happening, but Adam Juracek is now the franchise leader in goals by a defenseman in a single season, passing former Bulldog, former CHL Defenseman of the Year, and OHL champion Nathan Staios. His prior mark of 15 was surpassed by Adam Juracek as part of the 5-3 victory over the Barrie Colts as he grabbed a couple of goals in what was a huge victory for the Bulldogs at that moment, and they've put themselves 5 points ahead of the second place Barrie Colts. So it seems like this year more than any other is we're starting to see a lot more records broken, and there's, let me see, at least one more that we're going to talk about in the regular season, and that's coming up next. But for Adam Juracek, that's a pretty big name to pass in Bulldogs history.
Oh, absolutely. I still say it today. Nathan Staios was the best defenseman I've ever covered in Hamilton/Brantford. He was unbelievable for them. And it felt like Nathan Staios. I was talking to Reed Duthie, voice of the Bulldogs, for those who don't know, somehow don't know that. But I was talking to Reed Duthie on Sunday about Juracek and Staios. I couldn't believe Staios only had 15 goals that year because it felt like he shot every single time he got the puck on the power
and they
play.
always got through. Exactly. And I was thinking, he only got 15? I thought that was maybe because a lot of them playoffs too, right? But yeah, 17 goals on a season now for Adam Juracek. The record still continues. And I talked to him Friday night post game in Saginaw, or against Saginaw, and Vlad Drevetsky was with him and kind of joked with him about Vladdy, you next. And anyone that knows Vladimir Drevetsky, very big personality. A lot like, for those who knew Tomas Hamara, a lot like that. He gets up every day and eats a bowl of Lucky Charms or Fruit Loops and happy-go-lucky. So that was quite the conversation. Go, Vladdy, you got to break the record. And for those who don't know, for those who listen to the Dogcast, a few weeks ago when Adam Bannock scored a nasty goal, Vlad had the sarcastic remark, well, I taught him everything he knows. And shout out to Adam Bannock, by the way, Western Michigan University. But Vlad Drevetsky's full of personality, so that was pretty cool with Adam Juracek, kind of getting him going. On the day his brother got moved to Philadelphia as well, and they had a phone call after the game talking about the trade, and they're not going to play each other all the time anymore one day in the NHL with St. Louis, Minnesota, but maybe twice a year is better for mom and dad, so they don't fight each other. But no, honestly, great record for Adam Juracek. He runs that power play, hard shot. He's improved leaps and bounds from last year to this time. Last year to this year, he's improved so much. So Adam Juracek definitely deserving. Great off the rush, and sky's the limit for him. You really see the capabilities of what people can accomplish when they don't have to go through a rehab, when they don't have a off season. Adam Juracek never played hockey for over 8 months. Like, that's tough to do. And then he came right into the system. It's like, oh, I'm playing in the OHL. This is a dang good league, right? Especially in that division last year when you had Oshawa, you had Kingston. Like, you had some good teams in that division last year, the Bulldogs. So he comes over like that and gets thrown right into the mix, expected to produce from outside sources or outside people. And it didn't work last year, but this year he's been great. Yeah. Also, to note, does not need a translator when speaking to the media after games.
Shout out Tomas Hamara.
Which we're that's one of the best. That's not a story to share on here. But
he was upset.
If anyone's around the rink, feel free to ask us. We'll gladly share that story because it was hilarious. Here's the next I guess record tying scenario, but Nikita Klepov has been so good that he has tied Marco Rossi for the most Rookie of the Month awards. And it's hard to imagine with the amount of veteran talent in this league that we're going to have this conversation, but Nikita Klepov, I feel pretty confident in saying this, is a finalist for most outstanding player in the league. I don't know how he's not. If he's outside of the top
Scoring
3,
leader.
outside of the top 5, then there's some issues. But it's rare that we are in this situation. And I think year over year, it keeps seeming like, it seems like we're in a year where something awesome is going to happen that we might not see for a long, long time. 70 goals last year with Nick Lardis, right? You look at, what the ending of the Memorial Cup 2 years ago was between Saginaw and London, and how memorable that moment is for Saginaw Spirit fans, not so much for London Knights fans, but Canadian Hockey League fans in general. And then this year you're getting Nikita Klepov being fully in the conversation for most outstanding player. That is very impressive, especially on an 8th place Saginaw Spirit club who is still looking to clinch a playoff spot.
100%. That's why he's my Red Tilson pick right now. And I mean, this weekend, there's some good ones, there's some bad ones in the games from a game standpoint, but Nikita's been fun to watch. And ever since that Prospects game, and that's the beauty of the Connor McDavid Prospects game, guys explode onto the scene. And if they have a big game like that, all of a sudden you look at them, right? Like the 88 points in 62 games. I don't think we're going to get a 100-point guy this year, but he's going to get him. Aspinall are going to get you very close. Pridham's going to have a lot of luck here with 16 points over his next 6 games. That's tough to do, but that probably won't happen unless he has an incredible.
Considering we're into load management territory as well, potentially. Rangers already have the division. Obviously, the conference is next, and potentially the league. But if they're out of the running for the league and they've already got the conference, then why play in the last weekend of the regular season?
But you look at the duo that Saginaw has, right? Barbanoff and Klepov. Like, I mean, those two guys. I mean, they got the connection there. Saginaw is sneaky. Like, it'll be interesting to see how they do in a postseason series, because they got a sneaky system. Everyone knows how they play over the last couple of years when they had more talent. But you look at the team now, and you look at their top line, right? Like, and you look at some of the pieces that they have. Like Zhelkin's a stud, as you just heard him on the network this week with BC. Who's in the clouds, but he was not in the clouds for that interview with Zhelkin and Charlie Paquette. But I thought I thought like they have some pieces there. I don't think it's enough to get it done, obviously, as an 8 seed against a 1 seed, but you never know. Like, they have a decent goalie. He's aggressive. He's big. Like, I look at their goaltending, I'm thinking, okay, like maybe they steal a game. Maybe they have a lot of pieces there for Klepov to be one of the reasons why they're probably still in a playoff race. Where we see the points that they're putting up there, him and Barbanoff. Like, that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see out of these young guys and continue their development. And that's the beauty of the OHL. It's a developmental league, and we're clearly seeing that on full force this year with them. And I think that's huge. And I think that Klepov and Night, it's a treat to watch him. And he exploded onto the scene after the Connor McDavid Prospects game.
Yeah. Also to note, the Owen Sound Attack have named their 30th captain in franchise history. It is Pierce Bowie, as you can see it on your screen. If you're watching us on YouTube, assistant captains, obviously Noah Nelson, Jay Crawford, Lenny Greenberg, but the man chosen to wear the C is Pierce Bowie. Just going to grab a quote here out of the article. This is from head coach Scott Ray. Quote, Pierce leads by example through hard work, character, and commitment. Today, we are proud to name him captain, knowing he'll guide this team with the same determination he brings every day. And if you haven't read that article, you can go grab it and have a read on the OHL website. Looking at Greg Cowan's Twitter, he looked a little shocked that they did name a captain. 2 weeks left in the season, or I guess at this time it was about 2.5. You don't normally see that. So me personally, I was a little bit like,
very weird.
Yeah, it seems a little late. Would you not just run with, alternates? But also, it's not a bad idea to have a captain running into the playoffs. Once you're in there, to have a guy sort of leading the way and have the C on his chest, then from that standpoint, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and they got some guys around them too. Like, they got some veteran guys in that room. You heard no one else. Noah Roberts is another guy. Like, they got some guys in that team that are veteran guys. They've been around the league. It's their last kick at the can, and they'll step up as well and help them out as a leader. But this is probably it. I don't want to speculate too much into it, but this is probably it with the college commitment out of Pierce Bowie. So this is probably it for him. And I mean, maybe hopefully he doesn't take it as a little bit of extra pressure. Obviously, when you put a C on, that's naturally going to happen. But 81 PIMs in 62 games. I mean, maybe that'll calm down a little bit too, right? In that system as well. You're the captain. You take more pride leading by example as well. And I mean, you don't have to be as vocal when you have some of those guys. They have some veteran guys around him where he doesn't have to be as vocal, but also like lead by example and lead the guys into the fight. And I think that's all you got to do. Just play your game and you're a captain for a reason.
He's already set a career high in goals, already set a career high in assists, in points, and is 2 games away from setting a career high in games played. So that is awesome to see. Congratulations to him. Next up is Beckett Seneca to the NHL, or in the NHL. First rookie to 50 points is the Anaheim Ducks at the top of the division.
Man,
what the heck's going on out west? Like,
that Pacific is a mess.
It's
fun to watch.
Tough. But yeah, I mean, he's a bit. And Colin, I know we sound like a broken record talking about this, but like if the Anaheim Ducks did not have this guy on their roster this year, we're thinking, why the hell did you take him 3rd overall? And he earned his spot on the roster, and look where he is now. He is, if you're looking at 2 front runners for NHL Rookie of the Year, 2 OHL grads in Matthew Schaefer and Beckett Seneca.
Absolutely. I watched them play last week. I think it was last week. They were in a shootout, and I watched the Ducks game, and Beckett Seneca looked unbelievable. The play, like, it looks exactly like what he looked like in the OHL. He's big. He's a big body. He's good around the net. He's got some hands, big body, like, not out of place by any means. He's an elite player. And I mean, the 2 guys in the Calder race, him and Matthew Schaefer, that's pretty cool to see that out of the OHL right away onto the scene once again, like we see usually every year about a guy go up from the OHL to the show and kind of light it up year one. So that's nice to see. That's what it's all about. And to see Beckett have that success, it's not a surprise after seeing it last year. And get on the Ducks, right? Get on the Ducks taking the risk, and the risk is paying off, right? And I think that's all you want to see. I'm sure front office, you make that pick with confidence. Like obviously the laugh and the shock when he got taken, that's the beauty of the draft as well. But Beckett Seneca, I mean, no surprise to see him have 50 points like that. The first rookie to 50 points in the National Hockey League. Great player. And he leads you into the fight every night. I love the way he plays.
Mm-hmm. And finally for you on the headlines, 300 games played for Mr. Sema, Nick Sema, being a part of his 3rd OHL club. Of course, 202 games. So the majority with the Saginaw Spirit, and you can see on the graphic here on YouTube that photo with the Memorial Cup. 76 games with the North Bay Battalion, and now 22 with the Ottawa 67s to get him to 300 games. It is, it's much like the 1,000 game mark in the NHL, where it doesn't seem like it's a big deal. However, more guys don't get there than people think. Like, it is still a very select group amount of players that get to 1,000 in the NHL and get to 300 games in the OHL. It's sort of like that, where if you do get that opportunity, it's more than likely because you're playing an overage season, which isn't a bad thing by any means. But it is one of those rarities that you're thinking, holy crap, this guy's a journeyman, and he pounded his way through the Ontario Hockey League for a lot of games.
And for those on YouTube watching, look at that look on his picture. I mean,
I love it.
Nick Seaman's a gamer. He doesn't take a game off. And I think that's the best quality in his game. He doesn't take a game off. He doesn't take a shift off. Every game, you know what you're going to get from Nick Sema. You don't have to worry about him having a B game. Every game's an A game for him because he drags you into the fight. This might be the first time. Don't quote me on this. This might be the first time since COVID we've had 6 active 300-game players right now in the OHL. Charlie Paquette, Ethan Miedema, Sebastian Gervais, and Brad Gardner, Alex Ferron, and now Nick Sema. 6 active players. That's got to be the first time since COVID, because we had the COVID year, and now we're getting guys that have played full seasons.
They got their full 5 years instead of last year's OA group. They only got 4.
Yeah, so that's incredible to see. It's nice to see the OHL, and we're back to regular scheduled programming. So that's nice to see.
Yep. Okay, let's talk about officiating for a second here. It was a tough
Twitter
week.
polls. Let us know on social media. What do we got to do?
Yeah, it was a tough week. And I'll start this by saying, yes, we have seen our fair share of issues that we've had. However, it's a pretty common theme over the last couple of weeks from fans of other teams around the Ontario Hockey
Absolutely.
League. So we felt like, you know what, let's do it with 2 weeks left to go, and
Have an effect
let's
for the
have a chat
postseason.
about it. Which, by the way, this segment brought to you by the 5th annual OHL Officiating Prospect Development Combine. That'll be taking place in Brampton on June 5th and 6th. So that's a
Huge.
Sponsored segment.
Hey,
It isn't,
you
but
wanna be,
it's pretty
you want to
common.
be a part of. You want to be a part of the solution.
Yeah.
In
So
the combine.
So let where do you want to start, Colin? Do you want to start with the Kitchener-Sioux game?
Yeah, we can get to games. I have, and then after I just have a couple beefs that I want to share that isn't Bulldogs related. I've aired that out now. It's old news. Listen to the Dogcast, Bulldog fans. No Bulldog talk in this segment, but
No.
this is something that is. I don't like the approach. We can touch on the games and I'll get back to the approach.
Sure. Yeah, it just, I mean, you look at Brady Martin getting punched in the head numerous times in a tough spot where he's down on the ice. You see Christian Kirsch getting taken out. Now, you're out of the crease. I can understand the fair game argument.
You put your stick underneath the heel.
Much like Ryan Miller found out with Milan Lucic. Sorry, BC. But yeah, that's a tough spot for the stick, right? It's a little bit different if you catch the back of his leg or maybe clip him on the rear end. But it just seemed like a tough spot where the stick was. And then you look at how things kind of transpired between Windsor and Barrie a couple of weekends ago, where it just seemed like that game was out of hand and the officials really didn't have control of it. Kitchener-Windsor, that was an interesting end to that one, or I shouldn't say end, game altogether. And the Beller sharing his thoughts on social media, which we love to see. Got a great story from Joey Costanzo about the Beller, but it just seemed like those are a number of scenarios that if maybe they're approached a little bit differently, we might not have that issue. And Steve Bell brought up the point of, we've got the 5-minute major so you can review for a reason. And Steve felt like that should have been used when 100%. That whole scrum and skirmish went on between the Spitfires and Rangers.
I agree with that 1,000% with what Steve's saying there. You know why? Because there's no consistency there, and it's easier to take. It's so much easier just to put the 5-minute up on the board right away and go through the right process. The fact that there's no decision, that's what makes people mad. That's what makes fans mad. That's what makes every single person in organizations mad. It makes coaches, players, it makes everybody mad. And I think that doesn't help the situation at all. I truly believe that that's where you got to start with that. And I've said that a couple times now lately where there isn't even a review. And when there's not even a review, that's where we start to have thin ice on what's going on here. And another thing I wanted to mention too is my beef. What I've really struggled with right now over the last couple of weeks is the tone setting of a game, where you look at the first call of a game, and for a referee, the first call is kind of your tone setter, because that lets you know how the game's going to be called. Is it going to be aggressively called? Are we going to let the guys play tonight? What is it going to be? That lets you know.
That's the thing. You can dictate that with a non-call too, right? Whether you make the first penalty call or you let the first one go because you're like, it's a little ticky-tacky, we'll let that one go. You know, 1,000%. That can sort of relay the message to everybody about how you're going to call that game.
1,000% agreed. That's how you do it. That is how 100%. That's how you have to start, and it tells you the process. And I've saw that now a lot lately, where the first call of the game is like a little in between play, and then all of a sudden that opens up a lot of room. You can't create consistency in that unless you do by calling every single little thing.
Yeah.
And then we have the games that we have fans talking about anyways. But
And games that take 3.5 hours.
exactly. I hate games. I do not like games, and I think it's not fair for fans to have to pay to go to games where you see the first period have no life, little life in the game, no flow, because both teams get like 2 power plays in the first period. So 4 penalties total. Well, all of a sudden, you watch the start of a game. It almost feels like the first couple shifts, okay, guys are trying to set a tone. Well, if you call a penalty in that first couple shifts, all of a sudden, okay, now another team gets a power play. Minutes are now evolving throughout the period because you're way behind. You're going to have other players who don't see the ice until the 10-minute mark. You're going to see other guys that see the ice every other shift for the first 10 minutes. And then you see another one like that, and it creates no flow to the game. It creates little flow to the game. And that's why I think my biggest concern is you can't go up from there. You cannot go up if you're calling these little things early. There's no life to the game. And I think for fans, and now let us know on social media as well. I think if you're a fan, you would like to see those not be called early, because then you naturally create a flow to the game. You naturally create the beauty of the game to having the teams that you are paying to see play actually square off. There's nothing worse than seeing a good matchup have penalties in it, like a penalty fest in it. That's the worst about going to a game. And I think 100%, if you're a fan, you want to see the first call has to be a fair call in the game because it sets the tone for the rest of the game. All of a sudden, you have fans getting on the refs. You have all this stuff on social media just by one call. And I believe if you're a referee, your first call has to be legit because that sets the tone for the whole night. And then when all of a sudden you stop calling that stuff in the second period, then you get people upset too. So be consistent all night long, and it starts from your first penalty of the game. If you call one that's a 50-50, you better call a 50-50 one the other way. Because if you're going to have power play 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 in favor of other teams, and it's all ticky-tack, that's what makes a lot of fans upset in the OHL. And I think there's a lot of stuff like that right now when I watch games, and that's kind of one of the topics where I can see fans now starting to get upset. I can see fans getting upset about a guy getting punched in the head 3 or 4 times, and there's no call. There's no suspension, I mean. Guy gets jumped after an empty net goal. Not even a game. So nobody knows what actually is a suspension anymore. Nobody actually knows. The instigator thing is very weird. And honestly, as a fan, as a consumer,
getting so fired up, you're losing your hat.
As a consumer, I truly believe that we're going toward a no fighting league because the instigator thing is all, I don't know what that is anymore. I don't even know what an instigator is. Sometimes it's called, sometimes it's not. It feels like you got to eat 4 punches now instead of 3 to get an instigator. I have no clue what an instigator is anymore. And
I was going to say, to me, it's the first guy who drops the glove, but I was proven wrong for that this past weekend. So
the instigator, you gotta usually throw a punch because the gloves come off usually pretty quickly. Usually I always thought you got to eat a couple punches for the instigator. The guy that instigates it, he throws first. That's all. That's what I always thought. And then, but I obviously I'm wrong. I think it's 4 or 5 punches now guys got to eat. But I don't know what an instigator is. I don't know. And that starts with all the little stuff. And all things considered, if you don't call the little things, you'll have more organized games. You won't have the cheap stuff. And I think that's kind of the big one that we have to get neutralized here to get the big stuff out of the game. And I truly believe that with the instigating, it's honestly going toward, well, there's not going to be fighting because you can kind of see the way the instigating's called it now. Like the instigator, you don't even know what it is anymore. You don't really, what is an instigator? So I hope that that's not the case because, like I said, I think it's got to be a part of the game, in my opinion, and people can say what they want. That's just my opinion. That's the beauty of sports talk. But I truly think that if your first call, nevertheless, has to be good. Baseball fans, it's like an umpire in the first inning. If they're wide or if they're tight, they better be tight or wide all game long, all 9 innings, because that's when you have problems. And that's what's happening right now. I want to see a standard. I want to see consistency. The first penalty has to be a good penalty, because if it's not, you're opening up for a whole long game at the office if you're an official. And that's just what I've been seeing right now.
Yeah. Again, that segment brought to you by the 5th Annual OHL Officiating Prospect Development Combine, taking place in Brampton, June 5th and 6th of this year. To some injury news and some pretty significant names for some clubs around the OHL dealing with the injury bug. We're going to start in Windsor, which this was really tough to see pop up on our timelines when it did, March 4th to be exact. But Ethan Belchess of the Windsor Spitfires out indefinitely after suffering a broken left clavicle. It sounds like it's the rest of the year, including playoffs. I hope I'm wrong, and maybe the Spitfires make a deep run and we see him for a West final or an OHL final. That remains to be seen. But that was, again, that was tough to see as a fan of the game. And someone who enjoys watching the Windsor Spitfires play hockey, play rough, physical Western Conference hockey. And for this man, 59 points in 57 games. He scored 34 goals and added 25 assists. It sucks.
Yeah, no, that's horrible.
I probably shouldn't be laughing, but that's all I can say is it sucks. I don't know what else to say other than that. It's just, you like watching these guys play, and it's these now with the NCAA and guys are leaving the league earlier.
You don't know, right?
You want to see them play as much as possible. Like Matthew Schaefer, I would have loved to see a full year Matthew Schaefer. He kept getting hurt though, so we knew he was going to be in the NHL when he was 18. So it's okay, when he got hurt, that's the last we've seen of him, unfortunately. And you just get so upset or PO'd because you don't get to see them again. And do I think Belchez has played his last game as Windsor Spitfire? No, I don't. But what if something changes? You don't know. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is nowadays. And yeah, when we had Hunter Jones on, right, he was thinking the same thing. And it's really unfortunate because not only is he only in year number 2, and you're thinking, what big impact could he have on a contending team? Well, Ethan Belchez has a big impact on the Windsor Spitfires and their scoring.
Absolutely.
And to not have him in the playoffs is a really tough blow.
Yeah, no, Ethan Belchez is a legitimate weapon for the Windsor Spitfires, obviously, and I think that's tough. Take 59 points out of your lineup now, right? 34 goals, that's a tough loss. You never want to see that. It's the worst part about the game. You got to deal with injuries, and it sucks. It's not fair sometimes, and I hope all the best for Ethan Belchez. I know we talked with Joey Costanzo a couple weeks ago, and we talked about the mental health coaches and stuff like that, and hopefully everything's good with Ethan Belchez there. I know Windsor has a lot of good. They have a lot of good options there in the organization, so I'm not too worried about that. But those are tough. It sucks to have to go through an injury and a rehab. It's horrible to go through. So all the best, and hopefully a speedy recovery for Ethan. I mean, that's horrible to go through. I know that's a tough loss for everybody. And I feel and honestly, the part that sucks is too, probably Ethan feels the worst out of it. He probably feels horrible. And that's unfortunate. So I hope for a speedy recovery for Ethan Belchez. I mean, he's a great player, and it's unfortunate to see.
Yeah. Also of note, a big name, Jet Luchenko, Philadelphia Flyers prospect, is out for week to week, is what we've received from Spencer Hyman. It does sound like he is going to be ready for the playoffs, so nobody panic in Bulldog land. Nobody panic in Flyer land. Jet Luchenko will be ready for the playoffs from our understanding. That's just a piece you'd love to have in your lineup down the stretch to not only clinch the division, clinch the conference, clinch the Hamilton Spectator Trophy to get home ice throughout the playoffs. Just and you can see it in the face-off results for the Bulldogs. You can see it that their wins have gone down. When you look at the final stats after a game, they're not as high as they usually are, and that's because Jet Luchenko's not in the lineup.
Yeah, if he was, it's unfortunate for Jet. I mean, I don't know if it's as serious as week to week. I expect it to truly be, and obviously he's already served 10 days, so it could go
Yeah.
to day to day any day now. I truly expect, like, if it was a playoff game, he would be playing right now.
Yep,
It's
for
more
sure.
of I think it's more of a precautionary week to week, and like I said, it's already been 10 days, so it's already been over day to day status. So that's why you had to switch it to week, which is 2 to
Yeah.
4 weeks. So honestly, he could return in 4 days, or he could return in the playoffs. I would expect the playoffs, so I don't expect him to play in the regular season if he doesn't have to. He will definitely not play. And it's interesting. I don't know if it had anything to do, and I honestly have no idea about this. I wish I would have asked about this, but I have no idea if this injury's been lagging for a while, because they switched him to the wing for like 2 weeks before he's been sidelined now, and they switched him to the wing. And I wonder if that has anything to do with it, because I know before he had a wrist injury before in years prior, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I have no clue what it is. Just no upper body, and it's week to week. But he's already served two. It's going to be 2 weeks on Wednesday. Or no, Monday.
Yeah.
So yesterday. So it's already been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's been 14 days already. He's been out. So he could return any day if you had to. It could be back to day to day, but I don't expect it to be back if he doesn't have to be.
Yeah. If the Bulldogs start clinching, then there's no
it's
reason to bring him back whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it's more a day by day thing. It's precautionary.
Yeah. And then Ryan Robrick with the Niagara Ice Dogs, who are clinging onto 6th place with the Kingston Frontenacs right on their tail, just a 1-point separation between 6th and 7th place in the Eastern Conference, which that's the difference between you playing a division winner and playing the 3 seed, which it's between 3 still. It's between Ottawa, Brantford, and the Barrie Colts, obviously. Now there is a certain separation between first and it's weird because with Brantford and Ottawa, it's between first and third, whereas Barrie, it's first or second. It doesn't really make a difference, or I guess it could be second and third for Brantford and Ottawa. But just again, let's get rid of that, please, Brian Crawford, if you're out there. Let's get rid of the division winner automatically getting the top 2 spot. Although the Colts do have more points than Ottawa, so. It is worth it. If you have that amount of points, you definitely should be up there, of course, but it shouldn't be automatic. So, but Ryan Robrick, 30 goals and 58 points in 49 games for the Ice Dogs. He's missed a dozen for Niagara. Playoff bound, potentially, for Robrick to come back. We don't really have much more than that. Lower body, but other than that, they've done a pretty nice job keeping it quiet. Or keeping it under wraps, I should say.
Yeah, no, they have, and I believe this is one, if it was a postseason, he'd be playing in Ryan Robrick. Draft year, you don't want to miss playoff games, but yeah, the guy's got 58 points in 49 games. It speaks for itself. His numbers, right? What he means to this Ice Dogs team. He is their number 1 offensive contributor on the power play. Him, Riley Patterson, Ethan Zada are the forwards up front that are going to shoot the puck. And I think for Ryan Robrick, he's the leader in that department for them. I mean, he does a lot for them in the goal scoring department. He's a natural goal scorer. When he came into the league, right? Like, I think with this one, it's definitely tough. But I truly believe if it was a postseason, he'd be playing. And the Ice Dogs got to get winning. The Ice Dogs got to get winning games.
Yeah, absolutely. Or else they will find themselves in 7th and facing a division winner. So, and he's the one that could maybe extend series or contribute to an upset if you're a Niagara Ice Dogs fan.
We talked about Saginaw with Klepoff. If they get hot one game, you can win a game. I don't know if they'll win a series, but they could win a game for sure.
Sure. Yeah. So hopefully he's back for playoffs, because we also want to see the best players in the postseason. So we'll hit the break. When we come back, still quite a bit to get to. Players of the week were announced on Monday. Colin Ward's draft lottery, the final one of the regular season. The next one that we do will be the first Tuesday after the regular season concludes. So we will have our 4 teams cemented at the basement of each conference. So that'll be the next time we do it. And then the power rankings, of course, to round out every show here on the OHL 60 podcast. So make sure you stick around.
Butt ends are hockey stick grips, specifically for the top of the stick, designed to replace traditional cloth tape. They're made of rubber and offer a more consistent and comfortable grip than tape, aiming to improve performance and reduce slippage. Butt ends are an alternative to regular stick tape that provide enhanced grip and comfort, are durable, reusable, and consistent, with the ability to reduce vibration. The grips are available in a variety of styles, designs, colors, and even have options for specific player names. At Butt Ends, they're committed to providing the world's highest quality stick grips and continue to bring new technology and ideas with each new grip design, regardless of sport. Alex Petrangelo, Akil Thomas, Max Domi, Aiden Hill, and Tim Stutzla are a few who have proudly used Butt Ends for peak performance at the NHL level. Check them out at buttonswithaz.com and use our referral code buttons.com/discount/armchairgm to get 10% off your order as part of our community. Engineered for greatness and performance, Butt Ends, the #1 grip in hockey.
Fourth Wall is the official merchandise supplier of the Armchair GM Sports Network. Our user-friendly site is print to order with no minimum items or inventory needed, shipped right to your doorstep safely and efficiently from their North American warehouse. All of our logos are available to supporters, listeners, and viewers can have the best variety available to them for their swag preferences. All items are priced as low as possible, allowing everybody who wants to support our business with the opportunity to do so, receiving quality and comfortable products in return. Shop today at fourthwall.com with the direct link to our Armchair merch store in the description of all episodes and in the bio of all of our social media accounts. Become an Armchair GM today with Fourth Wall.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome back to the OHL in 60 podcast with Colin Ward. I'm Reece Doumani. One last segment before we wrap up the show. We got about 16-ish minutes left or so. And we start with the players of the week that were announced on Monday from the Ontario Hockey League. We start with the player of the week from the Kitchener Rangers, Sam O'Reilly. 3 games played. He scored 3 times. He added 5 assists at a total of 8 points and was also a +6. Colin Ward might be turning into a big Sam O'Reilly fan, as he is one of the guys driving the Kitchener Rangers right now.
100%. He was my guy. He is one of my underrated sneaky picks of the Red Tilts. And I think if you're talking about most valuable player to their team, it's Sam O'Reilly, the Kitchener Rangers. That trade flipped everything for the Rangers. It'd be cool to get Josh Brown on, beat writer for the Rangers, and chat about that impact that Sam O'Reilly's had on them, because you look at the games played. He played 28 games this year in London, 28 points. Goes to the World Juniors and has an underrated, sneaky, really good, one of the players of the tournament for Team Canada at the World Juniors this past year. And then he goes to the Rangers at the deadline, 33 points in 24 games, +26. Like 4 less games than what he had in London. You look at the numbers that he's putting up there, and he's done this throughout his career. And I think if we're talking about most valuable player to their team, it's Sam O'Reilly, the Kitchener Rangers. He switched that team. I don't know what the switch was, but maybe it's because of his competitive level. Like, he's very competitive. Like, he has to win. He's one of those guys that's a winner. And you saw that in London when he came up. He fit in so well playing with Cowan and Barkey when he first came up in the Ontario Hockey League in his first season, putting up 56 points. You look at him last year, now this year at Kitchener, like, this guy's a stud. And I think that the Rangers, I mean, no surprise he gets a player of the week. I mean, he's done everything for the Rangers and more some. What a player. And I'm sure Kitchener fans are thinking, man, I wish we had this guy next year. I wish it wasn't just a rental, because he's one of those guys that every single day he's what you want Sam, or what you want Pierce Bowie to be. He's what you want in Owen Sound as a captain. You don't have to wear a letter to be a captain. And Sam O'Reilly is showing that with the Kitchener Rangers. The Rangers have a lot of leaders in that team, and right now he doesn't wear the C, obviously, but he's a guy that leads by example every single day for the Rangers. He drags you right into the fight, and what a player for them. He's been incredible. Underrated pick for the Red Tilson this year. If he won the Red Tilson, I would gladly accept that. And honestly, at this rate, I'm kind of thinking about voting for him, because he means the most out of any team. Out of any team in the mix, if you take him out of the Kitchener Ranger lineup, we saw what the Rangers were before. You know,
Yeah.
Jet Luchenko was a big ad for the Bulldogs. You take him out of the Bulldogs lineup, they've won 3 games in a row. Like, I think the Sam O'Reilly, what he brings to the Rangers, I'm honestly contemplating voting for him in my vote this year for the Red Tilson Sam O'Reilly. That's how big he's been for the Rangers. I've really enjoyed watching him play.
To the OHL goaltender of the week from the Barrie Colts, it's Arvind Jaswal, who currently holds a 13-game win streak. He was 2-0 this week with a 2 goals against average and a save percentage of .937. This dude hasn't lost a game since November 28th. You know, we talk about Ben Horebic, and he's the clear number one. I think everyone knows that. Arvind knows that. Barrie Colts organization knows that. But they're in pretty safe hands for the future of this franchise, with Jaswal only being 17 years old and not losing since the end of November.
Yeah.
That's impressive. It's impressive no matter how old you are, but I think it just adds to it that the fact that this dude's 17 years old.
Absolutely, it does. I mean, this guy's been great. Arvind Jaswal has been great for them in the role, and obviously, it's a backup goaltender. You're going to play a lot of the second of back-to-backs. You're going to play some greasy games where you're going to
play school day games in March.
Exactly. Yeah, it shouldn't be a thing, but it is a thing for obvious reasons, and that's probably why we're going to have a sacrificial lamb in Cornwall for an exhibition game or a game, because as a business standpoint from the OHL, you would take the lowest attended team in attendance, and you would put them in a game in Cornwall against Ottawa. That makes perfect sense.
For anyone wondering, we're going to chat about that next week. Just a little bit of a preview for next week's show. It might be School Day Mayhem, because that's what rinks are for school day games.
Yeah.
So I've already named our next week's episode, guys. You're welcome.
Yeah, write that down. Write that down right now.
Yep.
And Arvind Jaswal's been great, right? You're going to play the school day games. It shouldn't happen in March. I think that's incredible for Arvind Jaswal to play like that. You're going to have a lot of confidence going into next year. That's what it's all about for a goalie. And obviously Ben Horebic's a stud as well in front of him, who it looks like they're going to push each other here, and that's big.
Rookie of the year in the Ontario Hockey League from the Kingston Frontenacs is Nolan Snyder. 2 games played for him. 1 goal, 3 assists for a total of 4 points. Was also a +3 for the Frontenacs, as well as they had a huge win Sunday. Plus, they also got some help from Brantford on Sunday, defeating the Ice Dogs in regulation, meaning the gap is just 1 point between the Kingston Frontenacs and Niagara Ice Dogs for 6th place in the Eastern Conference. So congratulations to Nolan Snyder on that. And to our prospect of the week from the GOHL, which, by the way, the regular season has wrapped up. In the GOHL, playoffs do start this week, so keep your eyes peeled to your favorite club for scheduling information. But Dylan Durno from the St. Thomas Stars, 2 games played. He had a 2-0 record with a 1 goals against average, a save percentage of .970. One of those victories was a shutout as he made 64 saves in those 2 games. The Owen Sound prospect showing off for the St. Thomas Stars, ending the regular season on a high for him. So congratulations to that young man, which gets us to maybe our favorite part of the show, Colin Ward's bi-weekly draft lottery results.
March 10th edition.
So, March 10th edition of the Power Ranking, or of Power Rankings. That's next, by the way, for anyone wondering. But of the draft lottery. And again, it's the same 4 clubs. It's the Brampton Steelheads, the Oshawa Generals, the Sarnia Sting, and the Erie Otters. Colin Ward, what were the results this time around?
Yeah, so we got Generals 20th, Otters 19th, Steelheads 18th, Sting 17th. Those are your 4 teams, as you mentioned, in that order for the picks. With the 4th pick in the biggest OHL draft lottery on March 10th in the league right now, the Sarnia Sting have the 4th pick in the draft. So they remain the same. They still have the 4th pick in the draft. Great for Sarnia. They don't move. They don't fall. They don't Red Wing by fall. Obviously, you can't fall. They stay the same. So Sarnia Sting, pick 4. Number 3. I am so sorry. I'm going to have to go take a shower. The Oshawa Generals. The Oshawa Generals fall from 20 to 18. Gonna
you
have
gotta
to wash
the
off my
guilt
tears. Gotta wash off my
Man.
tears. I honestly feel bad because I don't want people to say, "Oh, you're rigging the lottery. You're rigging the lottery," because we know how people get. But the Generals again fall. Like, I'm sorry, Oshawa. Maybe that's good news. Maybe this lottery means nothing to you, but it is the biggest lottery on March 10th in the OHL. But
It is.
the Oshawa Generals fall from 20th to 18th in the power in the there you go, Reece. I did it too in the lottery for this week in March 10th. The first pick back-to-back weeks. Back-to-back-to-back weeks. The Erie Otters go up
Wow.
again. But previous weeks they had the 18th best odds, or they were the third seed coming in. Now they have the second best chance of going up, and they go up again. All three times, and obviously Brampton too. So all three occasions of the draft lottery simulator, the Erie Otters have won. That's crazy.
So what you're telling us is because Erie has won every single draft lottery
They're
simulation,
picking four.
for us, they're going to pick fourth in
Without a
the
doubt.
real world.
And Oshawa's picking one.
Probably.
100%. 100%. That's what's happening. But yeah, there's your picks on your YouTube screen. Erie 1, Brampton 2, Oshawa 3, Sarnia 4. Sorry, Generals fans. You guys fall the most this week. The Otters go up, and the Steelheads go up. Sarnia Stings stay the same. That's why I said I'm at to shower off my tears, because that's a tough one. That's a tough one for the Generals. But
maybe you got to shower because you visited the dust pit that is Kinsman Stadium in Oshawa. So, got to have a better grounds crew there.
Better coaching staff.
Well, there's that. Yeah,
Anyone can do it. Junior team, what a joke that is.
To the OHL power rankings this week.
I'm going to put them in my power rankings. 21st. Legionnaires.
0-50. The Sarnia Legionnaires.
Yeah,
For the players, it sucks. For the people that put the team together, I don't feel as bad. But, yeah, 0-50. Sarnia finishes. Tough year for hockey in Sarnia. I can tell you that.
Honestly, I know the Sarnia Legionnaires, they go 0-50 on the season, but shout out to the players who stuck it out.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I know that sucks to go to the arena every day and you don't win. But shout out to them for sticking it out like that. That's cool. They didn't quit. And that's got to be a sense of accomplishment in a year where there wasn't any accomplishments in the wins and loss columns. But that's honestly to not quit and to keep playing and to go to the games when you didn't really probably want to, especially on weekends when you can go be with your buddies or, go do things. Shout out to the players who stuck it out. That's cool that they stuck it out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The first time that a team has gone winless in GOHL history. So, well, obviously the GOHL is a year old, but the junior B ranks, GOHL, GOJHL, whatever the case might be. So
my neighbors are
joining. Your Woodstock Navy vets are coming to the GOHL.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah, they had 1,000 people for game one of their playoff series. Cool. They get round two, so that's cool. Win? Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, they won with 0.3 of a second left. They scored to win in regulation, and then they lost game two. So game three, I think, is Tuesday in Norwich. But yeah, so tonight in Norwich. But yeah, that's what a pump for the city. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
the OH. No, they're not.
Bring back the trash.
Too small.
It's always the city. The city at Delhi. As Liza looks at me right now, like raising her eyebrows.
Liza, give him a penalty. Give him a penalty. He's got to be muted for 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, we should explain the penpenalties. Liza just gave me a 2 minute. Liza just gave me the sign 2 minutes. With mute.
Maybe we'll do that to wrap up the show because it's kind of funny for BC and I to hear every time Colin gets a penalty. So the power rankings: Owen Sound moves down 2 spots. They're number 16. Guelph up 2 spots. They're number 15. Niagara drops a spot to number 14. Saginaw up 2 spots to number 13. 12, 11, 10, and 9 all remain the same. It's Sudbury at 12, Kingston at 11, Sault Ste. Marie at 10, Peterborough at 9. The North Bay Battalion down a spot to number 8. The London Knights up a spot to number 7. Ottawa doesn't move. They're number 6. Spitfires down 1 to number 5. Firebirds up 1 to number 4. Both the Colts and Rangers moved down a spot, so that's Kitchener 2, Barrie 3, and the Brantford Bulldogs up 2 spots to number 1. Colin Ward, you can kick things off. Who is number 5 for you?
5 for me is the Flint Firebirds, and only because one reason, because my 4 team had a huge win. It's very close, and I don't do ties anymore. 5 for unless it's Attack Live updates. That was last week's number 1, tied with the Kitchener Rangers. But to me, 5 the Flint Firebirds.
Number 5 for me, the Ottawa 67s. They don't have the best record in their last 10. However, I thought it was a huge victory on Sunday against the Peterborough Petes. Kind of one they had to have if they still wanted their hopes to stay alive for the division title. I know it's a little bit of a stretch at this point. A 7-point gap with just 6 games to go might be a little bit tough to overcome. However, it's not impossible. So that's why the Bulldogs got to play out the last 6 games like it's Game 7 of the playoffs. That's why Ottawa has to do the same thing as well. So I thought that was a huge victory to finish off their weekend. So that's why I've got Ottawa at number 5. Colin, who's at number 4?
4 for me because their huge win over the Kitchener Rangers. They finally beat Kitchener, the Windsor Spitfires, and Joey Costanzo with his record win on the weekend. But I'm going to go with the Windsor Spitfires as my 4 spot.
Number 4, I've got the Flint Firebirds. They're in control of the division right now. Obviously, Windsor does have a game in hand, so if they do win that game, they would be even in points. However, the Firebirds with that edge, they've got points in their last 3, 6-2-1-1 in their last 10. Division-leading Flint Firebirds at number 4. Who's number 3?
3 for me, the Barrie Colts. And it's very tight between 2 and 3 this week. It really is. And the Barrie Colts are my 3rd spot. By the narrowest of margins, I don't do ties anymore. That's why.
It's pretty close. I'll give you that. We do have this. I'm not going to give it away. I kind of just did. But the Barrie Colts are number 3 for me as well. The difference is one team had more regulation losses than the other in their last 10. Really, that's what it came down to. And yes, there is a point difference here by 4, but the Barrie Colts are 8-2 in their last 10, which I just gave away my second pick, so I'll go first there. The Kitchener Rangers collecting that 1 extra point because they lost beyond regulation time, but they've also got 94 points. They've got 44 victories on the season. And they've scored more goals. They've given up less goals. So that's why the Kitchener Rangers are number 2 for me. Colin, who's number 2 for you?
2 for me, the Kitchener Rangers. Exact same reason you just mentioned, Reece. I don't even have to say anything. I love that when you get to go first. I don't even have to say anything. It's great. Appreciate it. No, I agree. The Kitchener Rangers, my 2 spot. Tough loss to Windsor. Big win for Windsor. That's the winning game there in this week's power ranking for me. And that's why. But for me, Kitchener's 2.
And number 1 for the Brantford Bulldogs. They're back on top, and they are the OHL's last hope for a 50-game winner this season. They are the only ones with a shot at winning 50 games. Yes, they've got the same amount of wins as the Kitchener Rangers, but the Rangers only have 5 games left to go at 44 wins. The Brantford Bulldogs have 6 games left to go at 44 wins, so they would of course have to win out to get their 50th victory. They're 3 points away from 100. I feel pretty confident that the Kitchener Rangers are going to get to 100 points. They just need 6 more. But it seems like the Bulldogs are back, and they had a sweep of a weekend. They beat Barrie, they beat Saginaw, they beat Niagara, and they control their own destiny. They just need 6 more points to clinch the division. I believe it's 8 points to get the conference. And it might be 8 points to get the spectator too. I could be wrong there, but
yeah, it's 8. It's
some single digits.
And Barrie are the same because the games played.
Right. So it's single digits for all of those. And it just looked like the Bulldogs were back this past weekend. That was an impressive victory against the Barrie Colts on Thursday to kick things off. So they're number 1 for me.
Absolutely agreed. The Brantford Bulldogs, after the week they've had, the bounce back that they had from a couple weeks ago to now, it's been night and day for them. You're starting to see the system a little bit more clear. They look good. That was an impressive win on Thursday against the Barrie Colts.
Okay, let's talk about this penalty stuff, Colin.
Liza got camera shy. Liza
No!
got camera shy. Yeah,
Oh, man.
I know.
Oh.
I can explain it, but it's not as good. So
I was going to
essentially,
say, Liza will explain it way better.
yeah, Liza's an explainer. She does everything better than me. Let's be honest. Look at me. She's a better athlete, axe throwing, obviously better looking. Everything. But yeah, I'm
She's
just
not
here.
better at closing down at Chuck's, though.
I don't know. She's helped.
Really?
Out. Oh yeah.
Wow.
She's helped out. She usually's got to help me walk home.
Oh man.
Yeah. No.
Help you walk home.
No.
Why am I not surprised?
No, the penalty. Should we wait? Should we wait for the penalty thing and then do it another time, or I can just explain it quickly?
Well, no, because we want Liza to explain it. It'd be fun.
Okay,
with Liza.
We'll wait.
So we'll do
wait
it
for
another time.
Yeah, we'll look it up. It's an unreal story that people have to hear, and I'm sure fans relate to it. 100%. We need radio on Flow. There.
Yes.
I'll say that.
Radio.
Oh,
radio.
I'll just say that. That's my standpoint. But when the boss comes in and explains here, and hopefully next week she comes on and explains it for a couple seconds, and then it'll all speak for itself. Yeah. See where I get it from.
One thing I did forget to get to, and Brandon, thank you for reminding us in the comments. Niagara Kingston is an interesting race, and I know we just went through our power rankings, and that's usually how we wrap up the show. But it is something we wanted to touch on this week because, as I mentioned, the Frontenacs winning Sunday, the Ice Dogs losing Sunday, losing in regulation. It's just 1 point. 1 point. Wow. There's just a 1 point separation between the Ice Dogs and Frontenacs for sixth place in the Eastern Conference. We're pretty confident those are where those teams are going to end up. Yeah, could Niagara mathematically get to fifth? Sure. They could mathematically tie Peterborough for fourth. Is that going to happen? No. Are they going to get to fifth? No. And do I think Sudbury's going to catch either Kingston or Niagara? No. So it's a battle for sixth. And an interesting note that you brought up, Colin, about the Ice Dogs' loss to Oshawa a few weeks ago, and
potentially the 1 point with Brampton.
Yeah, the fact that Kingston swept the season series against Oshawa for the first time, and the Ice Dogs may have lost themselves sixth place by losing in comeback fashion to the Oshawa Generals. Yeah, we might get to game 68, and that might be in the books with Kingston being on top by 1 point. And you look back at that one, also look back at the 4-0 blown lead to Saginaw. But to the point of Oshawa and beating Oshawa, Kingston did it every time they played them. Niagara had the opportunity to win that game, probably should have won that game, but they didn't because the Generals came back.
No, absolutely. And I mean, those are games you look back at, and it's like you lose those extra points against two teams that aren't in the postseason. That's tough. That is tough for the Ice Dogs and the Frontenacs gain, right? And there's a big game here next week where this weekend, I think, when we're going to see Brampton and Kingston go at it. And I mean, if Kingston gets the 2 points, we're going to look back at that and say, well, that 1 point they lost to Oshawa, the 1 point they lost to Brampton, the Ice Dogs are the reason why they're not in the sixth spot. And it's amazing when you look back at things like that, and it's like, well, it's just October, but it's not just October when it's March. And we always look at that, and that's one of those things where if Kingston, you take all 16 points from Oshawa, that's a lot of points. 16 points is a ton, and that is huge. I mean, they swept the Oshawa Generals. The Brantford Bulldogs can't even say that in their season series, and that's something for the Kingston Frontenacs. So I think that this playoff race is going to be interesting. I think it's intriguing to see, just like it is for home ice in the Western Conference, where if this race continues in the West, next week we got to start with that London Sioux.
Sure.
This is going to go down to home. I mean, 1 point. Sioux has a game in hand, but if they don't win that game, look out what's going to happen. Who knows? Beauty of our league here. We go down to the last day of the season for playoff seedings. And I think that this is one of those matchups there, Niagara-Kingston, where you lose the head-to-head games, and some games you should win. You look back at it, it's like, well, we didn't take care of business by 1 point, and that's why we're playing the 2 seed instead of the 3 seed. It's a big difference this year, I think, between playing the Barrie Colts and the Ottawa 67s. I really think that is. I honestly, for Kingston's standpoint, Kingston has a better chance to get in a 3 spot against Ottawa to have a chance in the series than they do against Barrie. I think right now in the East, we're starting to see two tiers. We're starting to see Brantford, Barrie, and then there's a little bit of a drop off with Ottawa. I think Ottawa's expectation, it's too hard to stay at that level for so long with a 17-year-old goaltender in Ryder Fedorov. We didn't even see Carter George do that as a 17-year-old. You rarely see a 17-year-old goaltender stay at that level for a full season. It's a long year. Ryder Fedorov's having a great season. He's been incredible. But I see the Kingston Frontenacs in a rivalry series with a better chance than the Niagara Ice Dogs do against Ottawa. The Barrie Colts, I see either way. Both these teams got to avoid Barrie, or it's only going to be 4 games, possibly 5 in well, we'll see you later. We'll see you at opening day for the golf courses, but we'll I think that's kind of
they'll be out there with the Maple Leafs when they don't qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, they're already out there. They're already at the Toronto Open. It's going to be fun to watch this race. I think it's great. It's the beauty of our league.
Which, by the way, that game in hand for Sault Ste. Marie is Thursday in Windsor. That's a big one. Thursday night at the WFCU Center. So they'll be even in games heading into Friday night's action, which will make things even more exciting. And you're right, we should start the week that way. We should start next week's show with whatever is remaining left, whether it's still that Kingston Niagara, if there's a little bit more of a gap, maybe North Bay closes the gap a little bit more on Peterborough.
Let's go over what we for next week's show. Let's go over how we think this playoff race is going to be. Let's predict the series with the last week of the year. We're going to know some,
might as well.
But we're also not going to know some. Yeah, it'll be fun for next week's show. So, and let us know also too on social media what you think we should talk about.
Well, I think I'm not alone in saying this. I think we'll have our 4 E's show up at the bottom of the. I know they don't actually show up, but I think our 4 E's will officially show up at the bottom of the standings this week, and we're going to get our 8th and final teams in each conference to clinch their spot in the playoffs. So, lot to look forward to this week, and we hope everyone will be tuned in just like we will be and enjoy it. This is just the second last week of the regular season, and then playoffs. Playoffs? That was quick.
I know.
Kind of flew by.
Was this the fastest year in OHL history?
Man, that went quick, didn't it?
Yeah, we should have that as a Twitter poll.
Way quicker than other years.
Brandon, we got to clip that. Is this the fastest week in OHL history for a Twitter poll this week? It'd be unreal because fans got to know what we're saying. I think if we just tweet out a caption, OHL is just the fastest year, they're going to be like, what? But with the content, I think they'll know. In the context.
Yeah, they'll be good. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we really appreciate it, whether you watched us on the Armchair GM Sports Network's YouTube page, whether you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you very much, as always. For BC, for Colin Ward, I'm Reece Doumani. Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the OHL in 60 podcast, and we will chat again in 7 days.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.